Cruisers are outraged after one man has come forward to tell his story. Some of the details of this may shock you because this could happen to you.
JJ Cruz.
Hey everyone, what's up? This is Jordan with JJ Cruz. Thank you so much for clicking into the video today. Well, today we have a very interesting story coming from a man that is not going to make his cruise. It's devastating and it's for the worst possible reason, and it has a lot of people really upset at a particular industry that is often looked at as crooked or a little bit scammy. We're going to get into all of this information, but before we do, I just want to invite you to subscribe to the channel. This is JJ Cruz. We do all things cruising all the time here on YouTube, so if you love cruise vacations as much as Jared and I, please hit that subscribe button, and if you like today's video, don't forget to hit the thumbs up. After 90-some cruises and working in the travel industry for several years, there's a lot of things that I see happen on ships, and there's a lot of stories that I hear coming from the internet or here on YouTube. Some of these stories are so important that I think we need to talk about them, especially when it contains information that's very pertinent to your cruise that you might not know. I'm going to talk about two travelers' stories today, including the one that I talked about here at the beginning, just to give you a forewarning. If you're going on any type of cruise travel and going internationally anytime soon, there's some information that you really need to know. The first story actually took place several years ago and happened to a couple on their honeymoon. There was a couple that was coming from the United States heading over to Europe, and they were going to be over in Europe for a couple of weeks. If you've gone to Europe before, you know that it's very easy to travel around Europe by train. So this couple was coming in, flying into Paris, and then they were going to start their honeymoon by training into Belgium. Well, one of the worst things that could happen happened while they were up in the air on their flight from the US to France. There was a bombing that took place at the train station that they were going to be headed to once they landed in France. Upon landing, they learned about what had happened, and they learned that pretty much their trip was going to have to come to a halt. They called the travel company that they booked this trip through, as well as their travel insurance, to find out what their options were going to be. No one, unfortunately, could help them. Travel insurance wasn't going to cover this situation, and the travel company that they booked through said, well, yeah, we can make some changes here and we can change your honeymoon, but you're going to have to cover all the expenses for the change fees and the upcharges for the new route that you're going to take as you travel through Europe. This was not only shocking to the couple, but it was also devastating. After all, what is the point of having travel protection? The second story is really what's causing some outrage, especially amongst the cruise industry online right now. There's a man, a first-time cruiser, that's getting ready to fly into Europe, to specifically Rome, to take his first cruise with Royal Caribbean. This person lives in Pakistan, and if you've been watching the news recently, there was an invasion from India into Pakistan, which has unfortunately closed Pakistan's airspace completely. If you are in Pakistan, you cannot fly anywhere. Therefore, this guy cannot make it to his cruise that's leaving out of Rome. This gentleman, of course, is devastated that he's not going to make it to his cruise. But a very interesting conversation in the comments has sparked a big discussion amongst cruisers. Even if this man were to file with travel insurance, there's a good chance he would not get any of his money back because this is an act of war. Acts of war are not covered for travel protection. Most people don't know this. This is the reason why the couple on their honeymoon got no coverage when there was a bombing at the Belgium train station, and this is the reason that this man is possibly not going to get his cruise covered upon cancellation, because this is an act of war. The act of war clause is something that's very common in most travel insurance policies. Now, when asked about this, travel insurance companies collectively say the same thing. It would be much too catastrophic if there was an act of war to cover every single person. Therefore, the travel insurance company would be put out of business, so we cannot provide any assistance or coverage in the chance of an act of war. There's some advice that's being given to this gentleman in the comments of his story, saying if he does file with his travel protection, he needs to just say that his flight was canceled and he can't make it to the cruise. If they don't ask for a reason why the flight was canceled, well, then it just seems like it's on the airline, that the airline canceled the flight, and the cruiser should be refunded for his trip entirely. Others are reminding each other in the comments that a lot of cruise lines, such like Royal Caribbean, does offer a cancel for any reason travel protection. So if you booked direct with Royal Caribbean and let's say the insurance denied you a claim, Royal Caribbean would then cut you a future cruise credit for a certain percentage of your cruise. And I guess getting a future cruise credit is better than getting, well, nothing back at all in the chance that the worst case scenario happens. This is important for you to know as a cruiser because a lot of people feel as though travel protection is kind of their one-stop shop. If you have travel protection and anything goes wrong along the way, you're going to be covered and you're going to be taken care of through your travel insurance. What most people don't realize is that maybe you haven't read the terms and agreements for your travel protection, and maybe you don't know that there is a war clause in almost every single travel protection policy that exists. My heart goes out to these people that have had this happen, and I know that there's probably other people that watch this channel that have learned this lesson the hard way. Out of this, it might be actually a good idea to be looking at the cruise line's insurance policies, specifically if there is ever a cancel for any reason option that is offered, even at a higher cost. It might be worth buying into in the chance that something like this were to go wrong or keep you grounded due to the airspace being closed above you. Let me know what you think of this below. My heart really goes out to the people that have been impacted by any type of travel due to an active war. But has this ever happened to you? Did you know that this was even a thing? Do you typically read the fine print for any of your travel protection insurances? And have you had to learn about this war clause the hard way? Let me know in the comments below. Once again, my name is Jordan. This is JJ Cruz. And until next time, see ya.